Hello, Christy.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I enjoyed seeing the video of you decorating your house.
Oh my gosh. I came home and I was busy doing something and I turned around 15 minutes later and the kids had it halfway around. And I was like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we're making it Christmassy. And I was like, you know what? Okay, we'll go with that.
Go with that, yeah.
Putting
Go with
nails
that.
in the wall. Yeah, super exciting. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Hi, Virginia.
And happy birthday, Jen.
Oh, thank you. Oh, hi, Jenny.
Is it your birthday today?
It is.
I did not know this. Happy birthday. And you're hanging with us?
I'm hanging with you on my birthday.
Oh, sending you some
it doesn't matter anymore.
Gets to a point, right?
We're all going to have to sing you happy birthday.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's really okay.
Hi, Tammy. How are you, Tammy? Oh, we lost her.
She went away.
We lost her.
There she
Hey,
is.
lady. Hi, Tammy. How's it going?
Oh, I'm back.
Can't hear you.
Oh, I'm back.
We hear
Can
you
you
out
now?
there. Yes.
You probably don't want to see me. I have the COVID
We
rash.
do want to see you. We want to see all of your beautifulness.
Tammy, do you still have COVID?
Oh, thank you. No, but I have the long-term COVID, I guess, where I still have a ton of symptoms. Yeah. Went to the eye doctor yesterday, and she just said my corneas are super dry, so I have some drops to try to get some tears back.
Oh.
So yeah, it's all weird. And see my beautiful neck?
Oh, hun.
Yeah. Yeah. Not like you don't have enough going
So it's
on.
not fun. So exactly. But it's all good.
Well,
it could be worse.
We're gonna help you out. We're gonna help you out. We got a team here supporting you. Okay, I think Christy, have you ever met Jen before?
I was on one of the calls with Jen and I'm sorry, what's the
Probably Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't know, 6 months ago or 9 months ago or something. So
It was a long time ago. It was probably more than that. Because
probably.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah.
It's a long time. Yeah.
Sometime in the last year. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad to have you all here. And I know that you guys have all then met Jen before, but for those who will be watching that have not yet met Jen, I do want to just share a little bit of information, and then we're going to dive in to two parts. Number one, how do we kind of combat COVID naturally with natural vaccine frequency work? And number two, I'm going to stay on afterwards for a Q&A session for anyone that just has questions that they would like to ask, whether it's related to this or just our normal weekly Q&A. So with that, this is the beautiful Jennifer Nelson Hawks on her birthday nonetheless. Thank you for coming. What we have is in 2013, after 10 years working with the traditional medicine system in oncology, internal medicine, and functional medicine, Jennifer Nelson Hawks found a passion in holistic health and wellness and formed Simply Health Collective, which is here in Jackson. We are very lucky. Since that time, she's continued to bring her heart and experience into creating a unique space for her clients and take back their health naturally. Jennifer has tirelessly expanded her knowledge and has obtained her board certification as a holistic health practitioner, Iridologist, holistic health coach, IASIS Practitioner, as well as Bio-Resonance Practitioner. Through her growing practice in various modalities, she continues to create exceptional client experiences centered on each client's unique health-based needs. She is out. She lives in Jackson, so we're always doing the same fun things, playing on the lake, skiing, enjoying nature. And she has I'm sure that just touches the surface of your knowledge and certifications. You have so much knowledge, and we're really, I'm personally very grateful that you've helped me on my journey. And I know we are all grateful to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to just add to this because I don't know if a whole lot of people know this, but in the next 2 months, I will be an ND.
I did not know that.
Yep. I'm almost finished.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So not that that really matters, but it's just, I'm just
Yeah.
like reeling off these
We're
things
not-
and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not even stopping. I'm continuing. Yeah.
And that is where you guys, in the practitioner world, in the health world, it's always changing, right? Like information is always changing. We're always finding new science, new cutting edge things. And I think we've all probably had an experience interacting with
Stella! Hey, you get over here.
we're gonna mute her, with practitioners or doctors that have kind of like, they learned what they learned and they were really good at that, but then it stops and the continuing knowledge isn't there. And it really makes all the difference in the world when people are willing, including yourselves as your own advocates, to step up and continue researching and continue doing that. So that's awesome, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's so true. You know, I've always said holistic medicine is so revolutionary and it is always changing. And it's crazy because, you know, you think you know something and you're just touching the surface of something else. So oftentimes when I have clients, a couple of you can vouch for this, like, it's just like there's this cycle and we go and we're moving down and all of a sudden we get sidetracked over here. And it's like, why did we just go that direction? And it's not that as a holistic practitioner, you don't know what you're doing. It's that there's so much to look at because we're looking at the body as such a whole. And I think that's the most important thing to understand is, you know, we're not just looking at what one function of the body is doing or another. We're literally pulling everything in. Yeah. So today, Jenny had asked me to talk about how to combat COVID naturally. Now, this is
beyond like zinc, vitamin C, stuff like that. We talked about that. This is more of like the natural vaccine type of, right? Like stuff that's going to help in that regard.
So vaccine is a very scary, big word in my book. And that's just because, you know, science hasn't failed us, but Western medicine has failed us when it comes to what's happening right now. And you know, I get this straight from Mayo Clinic. My best friend's boyfriend is head over critical care at Mayo Clinic, specifically the COVID unit. And he's just like, Jen, you're doing everything right. Vibrational medicine is the way that we are all going. You know, you have in Western medicine, you've got EKGs, EEGs, ultrasounds, MRIs. You know, they're all looking at the body through a very different window because it's not based on blood, saliva, stool, and urine. And so with that being said, being that COVID specifically is a virus, it cannot be combated through taking antibiotics. It cannot be combated through taking other things. Viruses vibrate. They are vibrational pathogens, essentially. And so as a holistic practitioner, sure, we all know zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, quercetin. I mean, the list goes on. Elderberry, that's all. It is what it is.
Immune boosting.
Immune boosting. Here's the problem with all of those. The problem that I see with all of those is that as we want to support our immune system, we don't want to take over for our immune system. And I do believe that when we start adding so many vitamins and minerals and all, well, not minerals, but to boost our immune system, all of a sudden our immune system can get kind of lazy. And that's what we don't want to have happen. So one of the big things that I like to do is I like to look at it naturally through vibration. Now, I'm not going to actually ask, but you can tell me later. You know, homeopathics are a huge part of medicine. We don't see it very readily because that we're used to, you know, take this or take that and it's going to change a chemical reaction in the body and here we have it. But really vibrational medicine, specifically you talk about homeopathics, are incredible. They're incredible for supporting the body on a whole different level. So one of the things before I get too deep, I want to try to explain this. And it's because everybody's like, okay, yeah, we hear vibration all the time. We hear bioresonance all the time. We hear frequency all the time. What does that mean?
You even hear homeopath and you're like, oh, that's a natural, cool way. But like, how does that work? Right? Like,
what is
how
homeopathy?
is it interacting with the body?
Exactly.
On a scientific
So I'm going to do my very best to explain this without throwing any of you over the edge. So our bodies, we have matter and we have energy. Matter is a physical thing. It takes up space. That's the earth. That's plants. That's a pencil. It's a bowl. It's a piece of matter that has basically, it's made up of atoms and molecules. Then we have energy. Energy is, there's multiple forms of energy, but two types that I want to talk about today, which are potential energy as well as kinetic energy. So potential energy is stored energy. So it's what our body uses as stored energy that we get from our foods or that we get from other things. Kinetic energy is energy that basically is readily available at all times, but it comes from a source. So if you could imagine, like, you've got a circuit breaker at your house. The circuit breaker stores all that energy and then it disperses it through the different areas of the house. You can turn lights on, you can turn lights off, you can do all of that. Energy, vibration, frequency, bioresonance, they're all the same. So when you start hearing all of these different words and you're like, what does that mean now? It's all the same. It doesn't mean anything different. So what happens is, you all know the elements, the element table. The element table is basically broken down to its nano particle size of atoms and molecules. But within an atom, we have space. 99.9999% of an atom is empty space. We call that space energy. So when you have all of these atoms that form together, they create a molecule. Those molecules come together to form a cell. Those cells come together to form a tissue. Tissue, an organ as us as an organism. So when you go back to saying the frequency of our body and we're like, what in the world is that? It's all that empty space in the body that's vibrating. That kind of makes sense a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, good. The most important thing you can take away from this is that our body is energy, and energy can be measured. There are many ways to measure it. So when you're looking at, there are machines out there, bio-resonance machines or other type of machines, it can measure what's going on vibrationally in the body. What is the holistic approach to looking at what's going on for blood, urine, saliva, stool, EKG, EEG, MRI, ultrasound.
And it's also the Western approach with the EKG, with the ultrasound and the MRI,
Correct.
Right?
Yep, because that's
a Western approach.
Because it's science-based. Correct. So you're blending these two worlds together, which is incredible. Okay, so let's go back to combating COVID with a natural.
Wait,
you want to call? Go ahead.
Sorry, Jen, can I ask you one more question?
Absolutely.
So we can you told us basically a very large percentage of our body is simply energy. It's that empty space, right?
Correct.
We can measure that energy, but what do we want that energy to be? Like, tell us about the measurement. Like, what makes good energy versus bad energy? Like, what does measuring that tell us? Can you just talk about that for a second before we go into?
Sure. It's going to get a little bit scientific, or I'm going to try not to make it scientific. I'm going to try to keep it very third grade. But essentially, when you measure frequency, if you've got frequency that is very low, so you've got hertz. They're called hertz. So these hertz, there's a massive range. According to science, the human body vibrates at a 5 hertz. Now it's saying at a 10 hertz. So anywhere between a 5 and a 10 hertz. Anything below a 5 is going to be
Like
What
a
sort of-
rock? Like a more like.
It's
more-
not vibrating at a very, it's underactive. It's not vibrating very well. Anything over a 10 can be over vibrating. So vibrating too much. So what we want to have is we want to have our cells that are vibrating in kind of this 5 to 10 hertz range. Now, what does that mean for us? That means that our cells are dividing in a good pathway and not a bad pathway. Bad pathway is going to be disease cells. And when you've got cells that are not functioning or vibrating at that specific rate, and then they start to multiply, that's where disease sets in.
So the energy that takes up the greater part of our body, if it's vibrating too high or too low, creates a path of, I won't call it resistance, but dis-ease in the body where the cells, we've talked about this, right? You guys, when the cells divide or replicate, then it will create essentially a new cell that's duplicating itself. So if the cell is in a poor environment or is deformed, right? If it's toxic, if it's not in a good space, it's going to replicate that again. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So let's think, certainly you have heard of, if you've not seen, I don't know the correct terminology for this, but when you put two plants, one plant in a room with heavy metal music and one plant in a room with classical music, one plant grows better than the other plant.
Right.
So it's a vibration that the plant is receiving that is allowing it to prosper and grow, or is allowing it to just not.
Right.
There's many other ways, there's water droplets that do the same thing. There's a lot of experiments and science-based stuff out there that do show that. So, but when we're talking about frequency, we want our body to vibrate in the specific frequency range, because that's the healthiest it can be. But if it's not, what do we do to support that? And that's oftentimes where homeopathic comes in. So homeopathic is, let's talk about vitamin. You've got vitamins, you've got minerals. I mean, you've got vitamins, minerals, herbs. You've got all sorts of those, but you've got homeopathic. Homeopathic is vibration of literally of everything. But when you take this vibration, it is going to start vibrating in your body, and your cells will start vibrating it the same way. So have you ever gone to the airport and picked up a friend that lives down south or somewhere else and has an accent? And by the time you get home, you're speaking like she does. Like sees like. Okay, you guys get that? Yeah. Same thing when you've got, you probably have men on this, but it's okay. When you've got a bunch of women and they start hanging out a lot, their monthly cycles start to fall into the same cycle. That is the energy of the body that's happening. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about combating anything for that matter in the body, homeopathics are helping to re-educate the body on how it should be or what it should be doing. Mm-hmm. So specific to COVID, through all of my studies, getting rid of pathogens, getting rid of whether that is a parasite, whether that is a bacteria, whether that is a virus, we tend to go towards vibration. And that's because we want to help the body boost its own self, heal itself. The body will heal itself if given the right tools. But that means you've got to be eating properly. You've got to be hydrating. You've got to be breathing. You've got to have yourself in a pleasant, loving, unstressful environment. There's so many pieces to that. Yeah. So as far as vaccines go, I don't necessarily believe in a vaccine. I'm going to just say it out front right here. I don't necessarily believe in the vaccines. There's so many other pieces that are involved, and it's typically because it's something foreign to the body. Our body doesn't really understand or know what that is. That doesn't mean that it's bad for everybody. That's just my belief. So with what I do is I create a homeopathic of the virus, of COVID-19. So what I do is I There's many systems out there. It's essentially algorithms. Algorithms are mathematical equations, just like the 5 and the 10 that we talked about. They're mathematical equations that put together a vibration of something of matter. So what we're doing here is they have literally typed in COVID-19. I mean, there's a big long word for it. It's not just COVID-19. It's a big long word. And then what they do is they mimic those frequencies. And when they mimic those frequencies, based on the vibration of the body, you can give it in 6 or 7 different variations. So homeopathics come in X dilutions. It comes in C dilutions. It comes in M dilutions. And that's all that means is it's taking a substance and then you add water. So either whether it's a 9% or you add it 9 times, 10 times, or 100 times or 200 times, that becomes an X or a C. And this is very confusing because if you don't know what it is, it's a lot more than just that. But it's way too complex for me to try to really explain that. So anyway, we create this homeopathy.
The vibration goes into the water. It's the vibration of the COVID-19.
That's true on this case, correct.
Okay.
But most homeopathics have a mother tincture. So for instance, you literally can take anything. You can take penicillin, and take actual true penicillin and put it into a container with 99 drops of water, and that's called a dilution. They mix it, and then they add another 99 drops of water and mix it, and another 99 drops, and it essentially becomes just a vibrational form where there is no physical penicillin in this vial that they give you, and that's called a homeopathic.
Gotcha.
So when we're making the natural form or the vibrational form of homeopathics, what we're doing is we're mimicking that virus to our body. So our response system, our immune system responds and says, hey, that's an invader. I'm going to start getting my army ready. If you do it every day, your body will start acting as if it's got COVID. You will get flu-like symptoms. Because essentially, it's like pulling gum out of the carpet with gum. If there's no more gum left in the carpet, you're going to start putting gum back in the carpet. So if you take a homeopathic remedy that is a COVID-19 remedy and you just want to take it every day, you're going to start telling your body you've got COVID because it's the vibration like sees like. So what we do is we take a homeopathic bottle of COVID and we do this 1 time a week. That 1 time a week is enough time for our body to be like, okay, is it there? Is it not there? Not quite sure. But if we do come in contact with it at the grocery store, or our child brings it home, or our husband brings it home, or whatever that looks like, you've already, in that week's time, your body still has a little bit of that residue to say, oh, hey, I know that, and I know it's an invader. I need to go against that. But not enough to make your immune system be on alert all of the time.
Does it create antibodies? So when you take the actual vaccine, it's creating antibodies in your body, right?
So that's a very good question. And I'm honestly not going to be able to answer that truthfully because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here is what I know. I know that I have been doing this since March. I know that I have been on a plane. I know that I have people coming in here every day. I know that I have gone to the grocery store. I know I've been subjected to it a bajillion times and I've not gotten it. Now, I'm also precautious, so don't get me wrong. Like I'm wearing masks, I'm washing my hands, I'm doing everything that everybody's telling everybody else to do.
Yeah.
But I really, truly do believe that because I've been taking a dropper full of this every single week since the beginning of March, that if I do come in contact with it, my body knows what to do with it.
Right.
And if I have had it, I have had 0 symptoms of it. Let's just say that. Now, I did also take an antibody test. I had the opportunity to. I went to a blood drive for a doctor to help him draw blood for people for antibody tests. So he just did one on me. This was probably in June or July. Negative. I didn't have any antibodies, but I had been taking my tincture since March. So that's why I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Right. So it's not about creating the antibodies. It's about getting the immune system to recognize the COVID-19 frequency so that if you do get the actual pathogen from someone passed to you, your immune system knows exactly what to do.
That's correct. Yep, that's exactly right. There's other forms too. You don't have to do a homeopathic. And, Jenny can go into detail about this later on, but we also have holistic bio-resonance devices that you can use at home that you, that have these specific vibrations set in them so that you can start boosting your immune system against that. But you're also something like what I'm talking about here, which I'm not going to go into great detail on, is something that you use vibrationally to support your entire body. We're not just talking about COVID. We're talking about, what about all of your organs and systems, your blood, your actual blood cells, your kidney functions, your liver functions, the parasites, the pathogens, all of that. And there are technologies out there that will literally vibrationally support. It scans the body, it optimizes the body, and you move on with your day. You do that every single day. So I also do stuff like that. So I'm not just only doing the homeopathic of the COVID tincture that is made, but I'm also supporting vibrationally my entire body. We are in 5G now. And guess what? They're making 6G. 6G is being made as we speak. Technology is only getting better. And as it's amazing that it's getting better, it is destroying us on a vibrational level. Our cells and our bodies cannot keep up with it. It is not what it used to be. So, things that you can do outside of that. I mean, obviously breathing, hydration, food, nutrients. Right. Go stand outside in your bare feet, ground yourself. If you're by the ocean, go to the ocean. Yeah. If you have the opportunity to have a thunderstorm, which is not really what goes on in our neck of the woods, there's no thunderstorms this time of year, but those are those negative ions that truly support every cell in the body.
So this frequency work, that was such a good explanation, Jen. Thank you. Like I was like, we really want to understand the science behind the frequency and how that impacts the body and how that's related to COVID and or healing through vibrational frequency. And if you guys have a chance to look up, just do a little research, Google Germany and vibrational frequency work. Like what's considered Western medicine to us is very different than what's considered Western medicine to a lot of Europe and other countries that are very cutting edge in terms of their Western medicine, right? So vibrational frequency is the new age technology that is how many countries like Germany are using to treat patients in modern day Western medicine. So I always think I used to think vibrational frequency was so woo woo. And still, even though I told Jenna, I'm like, vibrational frequency is kind of like what inflammation was probably to so many of us. It's a word that we hear, but we don't totally understand what it is and how it impacts us, right? The more we learn about vibrational frequency, which I've been studying more so just by being a patient of it for years, the more we realize how impactful it has on us and the potential it has to heal us in so many regards. It is not the end all be all, like Jen said. It is diet, it is water, it's everything you guys learn. This is about a complementary approach that supports the body, that brings it to the next level. And so I know we've talked about vibrational work before. You can find different practitioners all around the country, all around the world. I've never heard of a COVID vaccine like Jennifer is sharing with us. I just learned about it a few weeks ago and got it for my family and I. And I know that I did ask her, I'm like, can you ship that? So Jennifer can offer that and ship it to you guys. I don't know, Jennifer, if you want to talk about that just for a minute so that people know it is not just a theoretical concept, but they can also get it from you if they want and what the price is. So I think it's amazing.
So it's you have to understand it's not really a vaccine. I want you all to know it's not a vaccine, but this is a way to vibrationally support the body on a cellular level. The bottles are, I think they're 1 ounce. I'm pretty sure they're 1 ounce bottles. You take a dropper full 1 time a week. If you have children, I would say between 10 to 15 drops. They don't necessarily need a dropper full. Their body mass is much smaller than ours. The bottles are $15 and I can ship them. I just ask that when you get them, let me just show you what one looks like. It literally, for those that have worked with me, they look like this. When you get them, you're going to turn them upside down and you're going to pat the bottom of them. That just helps to reinvigorate those vibrations. It's as simple as that. Every once in a while, pick it up, tap the bottom. That's it. It is not, there's not, you don't have to set it in a fridge. You don't have to keep it. If it's in the fridge, if it's in the sun, if it's in the cupboard, it really doesn't matter. The biggest thing is you don't want to put it around a cell phone when it's turned on, and you don't want it to put it around a microwave. There's a lot of other things to not put it around, but those are the big ones. And that's because those are energies, those are man-made frequencies that are negative to us. And they will zap the positive energy right out of this. So let me explain this a little bit. How does that happen? Distilled water. Distilled water is a hollow molecule. Back to atoms. Atoms are a hollow molecule. So they have this ability to store energy. So if you put this on a vibration plate and do a vibration with it, it's going to save that vibration. And then each time you take a drop of this, or a dropper full for that matter, you're giving your body the information it needs in order to combat whatever this is. It's called isotherapy. I had something else I was just gonna tell you. I don't know, but so it is really as simple as that.
Awesome. I just want to open it up and see if anyone has any questions. I do have one question as you guys are getting ready. You said, okay, it's not a vaccine. How would you describe this? It's a supplement. It's an additional method of support.
It's like a homeopathic remedy. It's just, that's how I would describe it. It's a homeopathic remedy to help support the natural processes of the body. If you think about your body like a computer, you've got a hardware system and a software system. The hardware system is going to be the zinc, the vitamin D, the quercetin, all of the supplements that you're taking, all of the foods that you're eating. Your software system, however, has it's a program. And this program, we have never known. We didn't know we needed this app in the program in order to run your immune system, right? Awesome. So yeah, this is telling your program what it needs to do when you get a virus in your program. It says, hey, that's a virus, don't let it come in. We've got you. Yeah. That's what this is doing.
Yeah, cool. How long do you think it takes to begin working?
Immediately. And here's why. Because if you take a dropper full once a day for 2 or 3 days, you're going to get flu-like symptoms. Now, here's another thing. Let me tell you this. If you do end up getting COVID, okay, you have those flu-like symptoms. Right, exactly, Tammy. If you have the flu-like symptoms, you can use this as pulling the gum out of the carpet with gum. Oh. Right? So then on that circumstance, you're going to take 5 to 10 drops twice a day until your symptoms subside. If your symptoms subside and then all of a sudden they get worse, it's because you have pulled this virus out. And Tammy, you kind of know this from me working with Anna. Same type of thing. We're just using a different homeopathic remedy, a different calculation, different form It's not a different form. It's just different.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, thank you for answering all my questions. I'm going to open up to everyone else. Tammy, Virginia, or Christy, do you guys have any questions for Jen? Go ahead.
So this would be like anybody could use it?
Anybody. Anybody.
Even if
Babies,
you're
pregnancy.
on, immune
Yeah.
suppressants.
So here's the thing, Virginia, on immune suppressants, you actually want something like this because we don't want to suppress your immune system. And that's why you don't want to do major immune suppressants, because anybody that, has a situation with their blood, or they've had a transplant or anything like that, this is definitely the way I would approach it, because we can't use all the other stuff because we don't want to do anything that's going to change their immune system. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tammy or Christy, do you guys have any questions? Yeah,
Tammy does. You just got to unmute her.
Unmute yourself, girlfriend.
Unmute.
There you go.
Okay,
There you go.
so can Anna take it if she's on your other tinctures?
Absolutely.
And, okay, same way, once a week?
Once a week. That's the key. And
Okay.
for Anna, if you do a full dropper full, you're looking at 35 to 40 drops if you get a full dropper full.
Oh, okay.
For Anna or any other children, 10 to 15 drops. So for Anna,
Okay.
maybe 15 drops.
And I can put it in your tea and stuff? It doesn't have to go directly under her tongue or anything?
Thank you for saying that. It is best if it goes directly under their tongue, and it's best if they can keep it there for, 20, 30 seconds, swallow it down, but then not have any liquids or food for at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you for saying that, because I did not mention that. Now, if she's like, oh, gross, I don't like that, I don't want to do that, certainly. You can add it to water. It just will dilute it down a little bit.
Okay. And then what would I take?
You're going to take a full dropper full. You're going to get that as full as you can.
And it doesn't matter that I already had it and I have the antibodies and that I'm still kind of sick.
For you, because do you have the flu-like symptoms? I know you have the rash, but do you have the flu-like symptoms?
I still have the cough. I don't have fever or anything like that.
Brain fog.
So
Brain fog?
Yes, I have COVID brain, terrible.
Okay. It would be worth trying. And, you can absolutely email me and I can give you a specific little protocol for that. But for the most part, it's going to be exactly like you're doing with Anna with her other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. Christy?
Well, my question isn't necessarily about COVID, but just about your business in general, your clinic or whatever you call it in general. So for myself, my issues are more joint related, so arthritis and things like that. Are there homeopathic or other things that would help with that kind of stuff? I'm on the anti-inflammatory diet. I drink my water. I do fall off every once in a while, just like we all do, I suppose, in that you can tell. But I was just wondering, are there homeopathic things that would support the arthritis or getting rid of arthritis, or at least making it less of an issue?
Sure, that's a great question. It really depends. It depends on what's causing the arthritis. If it's hereditary, if it's stemming from a dysfunction in your gut, if it's stemming from, an overload or a toxicity overload of whether it's mold or whether it's a parasite or whether it's other bacteria. It really just depends. And so what we do is I use it's called the IASIS or Quest 4, which is a full body bioresonance scan. So I have my client send in a hair sample, and then I take that hair sample and run it through the system, and it looks for dysresonance based on vibration of correlations, body correlations. And then it gives us an idea of where to start, because that's so broad. That's the hardest part about it, is that what works for you may not work for Jenny. What works for Jenny may not work for you. And so it's really just finding out what your story is. You know, were you on antibiotics your entire life? You know, how were you raised? Did you have trauma? You know, did you have a car accident? It just really depends. But that is really, you know, we're health detectives is what we are. And the thing about that is, and Jenny can attest to this, and actually both Tammy and Jenny can also, like, it's work. It's a progression. You know, one time is not, sometimes, you know, I see a client for 3 months, you know, and other time I have people that I've worked with for the last 4 or 5 years, literally every month. And it's because we are vibrational beings. We are changing every day. Depends on our stress levels, what we are eating, you know, our pain levels, are we breathing? 2020 can take a back seat for real. Like, you know, all of that blends into the big picture. But I'm happy to, we do discovery calls. We just started a discovery call. I kind of did this a little bit with Tammy before, I think, and Jenny actually. So I guess it's not really just started, but we do calls where you can schedule time, and then we do we talk for about 10, 15, 20 minutes, just kind of, and just figure out if, you know, I am the right fit for you. And if this type of technology and this type of work is what's good for you or not.
Okay.
And our website, we just launched our new website, which is simplyhealthcollective.com. And you can schedule from there. You can see exactly what we offer, and everything.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good. Thank you, Jen. We really, really appreciate that. And happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Are you doing something fun?
You.
No. What do you do? What do you do in time of COVID?
You know, we did, this was so fun for my son. For Josh, he wanted a treehouse. So we did like a treasure hunt all through the valley, like at our friend's property, my parents' property, with clues. And he had to decide, like, he would find the next space, get the clue, and then he'd be like, oh, we have to go to this property or this place, and then try and find it. And he'd get like a tool and another tool and then some wood. And then the type for the treehouse. It was so fun. So yeah, I do feel like this era has led to like some fun creativity.
It absolutely has. If I had children, that might be a whole different story.
Yeah.
But I've got a snoring dog behind me, and I have staff that tell me fun, beautiful balloons. So that's what I get.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, hon. Well, we really appreciate you. And if you guys need to contact Jen, simplyhealthcollective.com. I'm just seeing this website. It's really pretty. Nice job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
That was a lot of time and hard work right there.
I am sure. Yes, websites are not my favorite.
No.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
You guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Your faces. I want to be on these calls even just to be on these calls.
I know.
I love the interaction.
It's so good. And
Bye.
I am going to stay on if anyone has questions for our regular Q&A, or if you, Virginia, want to talk about the turkey, I'm here. So let me know if there's, I don't think there were any other questions other than the turkey, but I'm here to talk if you guys want. How's your week going? How are you feeling? And what did you think of that?
That was very
Tammy,
interesting. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very interesting.
Right? Were you guys able to draw the science? Like, did that help understand scientifically what vibrational frequency is and how it impacts our body?
Yeah.
Really meaningful. Yeah. Good. Cool.
I think because Anna's on it right now. Because Anna's working with Jenny for her arthritis.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And,
have you noticed anything?
Yes, like I said, because her knee is a lot less swollen, and it isn't progressing anywhere. So, I mean, I think it's working, and we really enjoy, our time with her, because she really encourages Anna, and talks with her like you do, Jenny. And I do. I would really suggest contacting her, because I say just her knowledge base is crazy.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's so awesome. Well, I'm glad she's feeling better. And yeah, Jen has a lot of great information to share. That's for sure. So good. What about heading into the holidays? How did you make any of those cookies, Tammy, or where are you guys at in your own health and nutrition journey? And
I just
like
found
COVID
some palm
holiday.
shortening. Yeah, COVID.
Oh,
I just found palm shortening. So this weekend we're gonna try to make the cutouts.
awesome.
And did you just use colored frosting then? Because there's really no sprinkles or anything you can use.
Yeah. Okay. So you can be creative. You can do cacao nibs. A cacao nib is cacao is the raw form of chocolate. So you can do that to make like the little like buttons or, you know, like little things that you normally, you can also do like cranberries if you can find cranberries that don't have sugar and oil on, dried cranberries. So it's red. You can do like dried mango and cut it up, and you kind of get creative with different ways to make it colorful and fun. You also, we did find natural food dye that's made from like the yellow is made from turmeric and the red is made from beet. And so we use that. It doesn't make a dark, bright color like you traditionally see. It's more of like a pastel-y, Eastery style, but it's still fun. So we did that too. And then I'm trying to think of, I've thought of like all kinds of different ways to kind of decorate, but it's, shredded coconut for like white, you know, if you want to give it texture.
For snow.
And snow, or like on a snowman if you wanted to give it texture, or angel wings, you know, just kind of getting creative and thinking about different forms of actual food that you can use to put on the decoration. It's kind of fun.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. And also Chloe got a like a cake decorating kit with like the icing that comes out the tube, and she's really into that. So, you know, making your own icing and decorating that way, like she loves it. It looks like
that's what I was thinking, was just making the different colored frostings. And what our trick is, if you just put it in a little like Ziploc bag and snip the corner, you got your own bag.
Yes, totally.
So that's kind of my plan.
Awesome. This is perfect. Super perfect. Yeah. Fun. Well, let us know how it goes. There's so many different recipes, and they're all really good. So I tried, was it Dee Dee? Who posted the gingerbread cookies most recently? I want to say it was Dee Dee. She made it with her grandkids. Oh my gosh. They might have been the best gingerbread cookies I've ever made. If anyone wants gingerbread cookies, it's like, I think it's the spices. My mom tried it too, and she was like, these are amazing. It uses so many different spices, and it's this really rich, like delicious flavor. So give those a shot if you want. They're really fun.
We will.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yay. Well, Merry Christmas. I'm like, when is Christmas? Where are we at here?
Next Thursday.
So we won't
next
talk,
Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
So we won't talk
Thursday
next
night,
week, but we will talk, we will have Zoom the week after that on the 30th. So Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
No, he's talking about what you had right there.
Virginia and
My mom also
you
bought
guys
me.
have any questions at all?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you for bringing Jen on, because I do work with her monthly and working on a lot of stuff, but she had never mentioned that homeopathic to me.
Too.
I take some other ones from her, and one she does after the scan each month that she puts together. And then right now I'm taking drainers to try to get my fingers. They've gone down a little bit, because last night I could finally, because I had take my rings off, and I finally just put my wedding ring on, because that's a half size bigger than my engagement ring. And I finally put my wedding ring on, and then my hands swell up again, and I could not get it off. But last night I could finally get it off. I tried to put it on this morning again, and I could not, so I didn't force it, obviously. But I was like, so they're getting a little better. But yeah, I probably won't do cutout cookies, but because I don't think I'm that ambitious. But yes, just this morning my kids were like, we have to make cookies for Santa. I'm like, oh yeah, we do. Okay.
We do.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that turkey recipe sounds amazing, but I don't think I'm going to do it this year because I just have not been able to have any sort of sweetener, and I don't want to not be able to eat the turkey. It sounds like it would be super moist and delicious, but
It's so
I
good.
even think, if I switched
know,
anything around, I would.
The other thing you could do, which I feel like this would be really expensive, but really good, is use those salts from the Jacobson salt, like the flavored salt, the rosemary or the garlic, like adding that instead of, you wouldn't have the sugar, but you would have like this delicious flavor. And that is another thing too. But even if you just do salt in the water and let it sit and soak that in, it just helps to hold in the moisture, keep it, and the bag. You have to do the bag, the turkey bag. That
I've never heard of that.
Huge piece of what keeps it moist. Go to the
Did
grocery
you cook
store.
it in that?
Yes, it's called a poultry bag.
Okay.
All grocery stores have it in like the Ziploc area, usually like the bag area. They're poultry bags. You can buy big turkey bags. They're made with plastic. I don't know how totally clean that is, but I've never felt inflamed at all ever from eating it. And it holds the moisture in. So if you didn't want to do all those cups of Jacobson salt, that would be super expensive. The herbal salt, you could do like just a bunch of salt and then let it soak overnight for how many hours, depending on the pounds of the turkey. When you take it out, you put it in the bag, put a little bit of olive oil, and then load the sucker up with fresh herbs. So buy tons of fresh herbs, and you literally cover the thing so you can't even see the turkey. Cover it in fresh herbs, shove it inside, and put the bag over it. And it really saturates in those herbs and gives it the best taste too. So that's another way to do it without using the maple syrup.
Okay. So not like, you don't like try to shove it under the skin. Cause that's what I tried to do at Thanksgiving. I had some fresh herbs and I was like trying to shove it under the skin. You just put it like right over top?
You can, but I just shove it like as much as I can inside the like hole of the turkey. And then I layer the whole thing, put it in between like the drumstick, wherever you feel like it can stick. But just when you have the bag, it keeps everything inside.
Okay.
And everything inside. And it's really, really good. I'll never make a turkey without a turkey bag because it's a total, when you guys are talking about dry turkey, that's the difference.
Okay.
And
interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. So let us know how it turns out.
Okay. Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great time. Have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And Christy, how are you guys? All set?
We're doing okay. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, I hope that you have a really lovely, good family time and chill, fun, adventurous, joyful, whatever it is that you need. Soak it in and bring in the extra sparkle, right? Whatever you can.
Well, same to you, Jenny.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you.
Talk in a
Yeah,
couple
Merry
weeks.
Christmas.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.